Hey gorgeous ones, I thought I'd start this little quick video. I'm with my trainer Lucas, and I'm still really upset today about what's going on, but I'm gonna do a little video on this today and then keep going in prayer. But I wanted to show you this beautiful sunrise. Okay, hi, morning. So this week, hey gorgeous Isabel. So this week I've got the $1 million, do you want to say hi, Lucas?
Hello guys.
Hey, I've got the $1 million money map coming up. The following week I will be doing a healing session, but during my $1 million money map I will be talking about what's happening in the United States, but also it's global, but mainly the US, with regards to Black Lives Matter and all the abuse and protesting, and it's been going on for 400 years, so it's something that we need to address. So I will also be addressing that, plus I'll be doing a divine energy healing intensive a few days later. So I don't like shaming other coaches and putting other people down, but it has been brought to my attention that we do need to name out people that aren't really handling this in the best possible way. I heard another black coach, hey Nicole, hey Angela, talking about that it's important to name people and not to shame them. But so I feel a bit uncomfortable because I don't know, people are struggling and people don't get it, but then it's also bypassing the issue. And as you've all probably already heard, Marie Forleo forbid her group from talking about the racial issues and the racism that's going out into the world at the moment, all the crisis that is happening. And I just want to, more than anything, say that I think there are times when you have to address it. You have to. That's why, and I was really emotional yesterday, and please don't think I'm some broken woman and come to me like one woman did as if there's something that needs to be fixed. As I said in my video, I'm very comfortable with my emotion. I'm very comfortable talking about the hard issues. I'm very comfortable with using my power to create change, which I will be doing, which I've always done. I have many, many, many woke, incredible clients. I stand for all women. I have always stood for all women. I put up a photo of myself 15 years ago in New York City where I had my clothing line, Body Love, that celebrated all shapes and sizes and ethnicities, from Asian to Black American women of all ethnicities. And I've always stood for all women. I can say I don't see colour, but the situation is that there is such abuse of power that it's disgusting, that I feel literally like vomiting and I feel sick to my stomach. However, at the same time, I think that we're all, hey gorgeous Zoe, that we're stronger than ever and that we need to come together, black and white, to create this global change. And I've always wanted to focus on, and yes, even talking about this makes me want to cry, should make you want to scream. The injustices that people have put up with every day. I have African American friends that are really successful, and deep down it's really hard for them to be friends sometimes with white women because they don't really know where you're coming from, and they've got such a block of protection around them due to the racism and due to all their suffering, which has gone on for hundreds of years, that they literally live in such a perpetual state of, it's unacceptable. It's just, and if you have the empathy to understand, if you don't have empathy, number one, you should leave this group, because you're not of the same vibration as me. Because yesterday when I was saying, there was this one woman And she was like, you know, you might need some rest. I don't need fucking rest. Don't tell me what I need. I said, I know how to take care of myself. I'm not a needy person because I've learned to cultivate my own strength and my own power. I know what I need. I don't need a mama to take care of me. And when I tell you, thank you that I'm okay. And this woman says to me, she said, if you say so. I'm like, don't be a condescending bitch, stupid woman. I'm like, don't talk to me like that. So these are all the things that I will no longer put up with, also myself. So we will be doing healing, deep prayer. I will be talking about money and business and what it actually has taken me to build $1 million plus. Well, how I made my first million. I've made many, many millions, and that's just the truth of it. And it's my African American beautiful client, Jocelyn, who asked me to talk about it because she wants to hear it so she can embed into her heart and her spirit exactly what I've done so that she can emulate that. Which way are we going? This way? We've got a big hill coming up over there. So that is where it's going to go. And when I do my content, by the way, I don't follow a fucking script. I do what comes to me and what needs to be said. I channel that shit in because I know my craft, and I've developed such a strong resolve in my voice that I will allow whatever needs to come forward to come forward. Because that's how I fucking rock. Because I trust myself. I trust my emotion. Yeah? So I went into another, this male sales group, and I wanted to see today, and I went in there and there wasn't one fucking mention of anything. Nothing, like it's not happening. Business is political. Fucking take a stand. Use it for good. Use it for good. You don't have to go on and on about it, but at least have the ability and the respect to discuss some of the hard issues. Anyway, I'm sending you guys so much love. I'm definitely not an expert about this topic, but I've always, you know, when I've ever spoken to the women, and I'm sitting there and you've got white women, and I'm not trying to take away from a white woman's pain. We've had women who've been raped and abused, and, you know, there's so much that's gone on for white women. Deep traumas, myself included, right? Russian father, Macedonian mother, crazy as shit. But you know what? When I speak to an African American woman or a black woman, especially living in America, all the shadows are rising and coming out, which is exactly what we need, absolutely, to purge what is no longer worthy to be within us, absolutely. You know, I mentioned in my other video about stop questioning whether it is actually a privilege. Like, it's like ridiculous to question our value. Women sitting around worrying about what their mother said to them or their father said to them, when you've got women who have to every day deal with abuse and the very survival of their family, always worried. Like, so it's like, take the privilege and use it. Stop sitting in your shit of, do you think I'm good enough? The shame around making money. Make your fucking money so that you have the means, so that you're not this broken, insecure woman. No shame on that, I get it, but come on, let's rise up. And I'm whispering because these people are asleep. Like, fuck, like, when are we gonna stop? You know, it's like, the size of your ass doesn't matter. Barely what you look like matters. Have a voice, have a great product, serve people, stand up, learn what you need to learn about business so you have a strong foundation, and stop questioning your value, because that in itself is wasteful as fuck. It's wasteful. It's poisonous. You've probably heard me say, live like you mean it. You're going to be dead before we know it. Live like you fucking mean it. Learn. Stop being victims, including myself. Where in my life? You know, I cut someone out of my life, my mum, because she's a complete and utter cow. She's a psychopath, about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I love her and everything, and I'm polite to her. But she did something really abusive. I remember I was lying on my bed and she called me, and I was just like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to perpetuate this cycle any longer. I don't owe her shit. You don't owe anyone else. Like, to be, yes, you've got to be ethical and loving, but if someone, including yourself, is abusive in your life, let it go. You don't need to put up with it, right? And as I've done that, all these other blocks of energy and things like that is literally like all the things that I've done that have been harmful to myself. Because if you put up with one energy, you put up with so many. Like, the same shit shows up in your life. You guys know this. So I released it with Grace. I'm still polite to her, but I put this huge boundary. I blocked her on my phone because I don't need to put up with people that yell and scream at me on the phone for not saying thank you for a chicken soup that she made me when I was in bed sick that day. I don't need to walk around on eggshells in my own house to accommodate her. Wish her all the best. I love her, but she's a destructive person. I don't need to put up with it. And as I've done that, so I'm going to ask you today, where are all the destructive things, the things that you put up, the things that you perpetuate, the way that you might be as a person that's not loving and kind? How do you treat yourself? How do you treat your relationship? And really take stock. Sometimes we need to all do this. I've had to look at myself in the mirror, really like look at myself in the mirror and see the parts of myself that need work, that are broken, that are harmful, so that we can move forward. I've definitely had times in my life when I've been a fucking victim. And I love myself in that. I can hold myself in that. I can admit it. But I'm not a victim anymore. I'm not a victim anymore. And the only person that is responsible for my life is me. Me. As the only person that is responsible for your life is you. Because we're that powerful. No one, even this whole situation in the United States, I talked about being the change. I think that's a Gandhi quote, be the change you wish to see in the world. That could not be a more true statement. Every shift, one shift that we make, where we just reach out today to a woman of color and say, how are you? I love you. You're a glorious queen. I'm here for you. And to hear them, is there anything I can do? A lot of my women that are in my community, you know what they're doing? Some of them feel a bit, of course, upset. But the majority of them, and there's no judgment in this, but they're moving forward. They're doing their work. They're on sales calls. They're speaking to people. They're really gathering their strength. So I praise them because they're such amazing women, such a beautiful, beautiful, powerful women. They are not stopping. They're not falling in a heap. And I wonder too, they're very resilient. So praise to those women because they've suffered so much that they've become so strong. Okay. So reach out today to a woman of color and give her a hug, and don't pretend that you can necessarily fix it, because that's going to take all of us collectively, isn't it? But let's just be there. Let's just be there and offer a hand and send love. And I'm going to be doing energetic healings so through the week, and I'm going to set some beautiful crystal grids this week as well. And yeah, my heart just goes out to everyone at the moment, because when I turn, and also the emotion is when I tune in to the suffering. If you tuned into the suffering, we would all be sobbing. If we actually took a moment to really put ourselves in the shoes of those people, the families, and George Lloyd's mother and friends, and the hundreds of thousands of George Lloyds it's happening all the time. When I was in New York in April, a young boy, well, actually it was an African boy who killed a young girl, a little girl on the way to school. But I'm like, what sort of upbringing? And I'm sure that young boy grew up in poverty, and I'm not excusing his behavior, but it's a broken system. There's no support for, even the United States reports poverty incorrectly so that they don't have to fix the problem. Like they say it's a smaller percentage than it actually is. So it's a huge problem, and everyone together needs to be participating. It is a sick system. It's a very sick system. But at the end of the day, we've got to create change. So how do we do that? We've always got to focus on, well, what's a solution? What is a solution? Because if we just stay stuck in the reality is it's a sick system. So how do we begin to change it? And my way, because I've only got limited means and energy, my way is to inspire, hey Tiffany, all women to be conscious and to speak up and to participate in to participate in it, to help as much as they can, but also to strengthen our own resolve so that we can actually, hey gorgeous Tiffany, hey Aura, so that we can actually have like full empowered lives. Because I really honestly believe with each and every woman coming into her own power and returning to her own power, that is the shift that the world needs. I think the Dalai Lama says a Western woman will change the world. So the women of privilege, white, black, whatever color or creed or ethnicity you are, have to become empowered. We can't sit there being broken by someone telling us we're not smart enough or pretty enough, or we've been raped and attacked and abused. We have to heal ourselves in order to come into this deep level of presence and power, like divine power, diva power, to be these solid, divine, connected forces where we're no longer waiting for external validation. We're no longer needy to have someone, pay for us. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like every woman, and the fact is that so many women, we are changing and we're healing and rising up, but there's a lot of sickness within women due to the suffering. So I understand sickness. I have been a sick, broken woman. I get it. But at some point we have to heal. We have to, because that's just even for ourselves. I mean, but if you look at a frequency level, if every single woman on the planet was really empowered, not living in sort of deception and toxic relationships and putting up with abuse, and she was actually really empowered, don't have to be the richest woman on the planet, none of that. I just mean really in love and loving of self and living a really juicy, harmonious life. I do believe we would change, our buying habits would change, domestic violence would completely drop, if not, I don't know if it would disappear, but there would be radical change. And so that's something that I feel that I can have some influence on. And so that's where I'm going to spend my time and energy. If there is a woman of color here who feels that I could be doing a better job, or doing something differently or better or whatever, I don't care, bring it on. You can message me. Willing to hear it. If you want me to address something, let me know. So, okay, beauties, I'm gonna go keep walking with my divine friend here. He has to put up with me. Have a beautiful day. Mwah. So much love.